Hello, everyone, and welcome to Christopher's Entertainment Blog. I am your host, Chris. Welcome to my 100% spoiler-filled review of Godzilla 2014. I just want to go and say real quick that I love the movie, and overall, I thought it was really, really good, and I loved it. I loved it, and I have some positives. I have some negatives. But the positives outweigh the negatives. Let me get into the positives real quick. The positives that I had, the biggest positive I had was the last 20-25 minutes of the movie where we seen Godzilla and the Mutos fighting it out, destroying the city, and the overall destruction, and then the dark tone. I love I love Godzilla's atomic breath. Where he has to build up and use every bit of energy that he has to use the atomic breath. One small thing I didn't like was, why, I wish he would have had, the breath to be a little bit more like a focused beam, instead of, more like a fire type thing going on. But overall, I thought it was great. And, I love Bryan Cranston. His acting in this, I thought, was really well done. I do have a negative that I will get into that. I love Elizabeth Olsen. I liked her character. I really did. It was a positive, but there's also a negative there that I'll get into. I love the whole story of these Mutos being basically attached to this other monster, I forget how many years ago it was like eons ago, and basically it killed this other monster, and then the one ends up burrowing out of this cave that you see in the beginning, and that's what destroys the atomic plant, the nuclear plant that Bryan Cranston's at, and his wife is killed, and and then we find out later that there's another one, and that it was dormant, and they put it in the nuclear waste facility in Nevada, and then we find out that there's these they're talking to each other, and that there's one's a male, one's a female, and they're gonna lay all these eggs, and then I love the scene where Aaron Taylor Johnson sees all the eggs, where they go to get the bomb. And he sees all these eggs, and that's the moment where we're like, oh man, we're screwed. We are effed. We're really screwed. He knew he had to do something. I love that intensity. We gotta do something. The whole skydiving, the halo jump was intense. I love that through the goggles. Where he sees Godzilla and the Muto fighting, and the whole destruction of the city. I love the scene where Godzilla rises up out of the ocean there at the bridge, and I love how they portrayed Godzilla in this as a protector. He was just like Sarazawa says, Ken Watanabe says. I mean, he's there to restore balance. And Sally Hawkins, who's in it, who's very good in this, says he's a god. He's in certain purposes. I mean, he is a god. He's there to restore balance. Let them fight. Let them fight. I mean, Sarazawa knows that he's the only thing that can really do anything. This military is not going to be able to do anything. Your bombs are not going to do anything. Godzilla's the only answer. He's the protector. He's the balance. He's the quote unquote the god of to do something. And I love that. I love how they portrayed Godzilla as this, basically this all-empowered being, I love the old Godzilla, the destruction, the killing Godzilla, the evil Godzilla, but I love how they've basically refreshed, rebooted this story, and made Godzilla this protector, and yeah, I love it. I love the scene where he's basically blocking the missiles on the bridge. There are missiles flying everywhere, and he's blocking them and holding up the bridge while the cables are falling down. He's holding it up, and then they're firing on him, and it throws him off balance, and basically effing that up. But I love that. I mean, I love how they portrayed Godzilla. I really do. Yeah, that overall, that 20 minutes, man, that last 20 minutes, 25 minutes was awesome. Was really awesome. The Mutos were so evil. I mean, they just want to take over. I love it. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of more positives because there was quite a bit of positives that I liked. I really did. I mean, the overall intensity, the soundtrack in this was just so intense that that violin or whatever that was that they were playing to make it so intense in the battles and just just the tension just ramping up. Yeah, it was great. It was really really good. I really loved it. Um, but let me go ahead real quick now and get into a few negatives that I did have. And one of the negatives was not enough Godzilla. There was not enough Godzilla. I mean, not enough the fighting. I mean, we see the scene in Hawaii where the Muto and Godzilla is there at the airport. Godzilla roars, and it's just so just yeah, I love that. And then they cut away to the kid watching the fight on the television set. Okay, okay, that was okay. That was funny. But not only did they do that once, twice, they did that 6 times, or at least 6 times, where they showed the Muto that comes out of the mountain and goes into Las Vegas and destroys Las Vegas. And then they cut away to the Admiral watching the Muto on the television set, and there's like, this is 5 minutes ago, and he's like destroying, the Eiffel Tower building there and destroying buildings, and they're like, oh my God, and you're like, what? I mean, I want to see that. I don't want to see you. I want to see the monsters, destroying stuff, I want to see Godzilla fighting there, and then like at the end, they cut away, Godzilla's there, and then the Muto's flying in, and then they cut away to them going in the bunker and closing the doors, and it's like they're getting ready to fight. It's like, why are you doing that, But that was the one big negative for me. Another negative I had, Bryan Cranston was not alive enough. I mean, he died so quick. I mean, he was dead like, what was it, like a half hour or something into the movie? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he died so quick. I mean, I was not expecting that. I was kind of surprised that he died so quick. I would have, rather seen his character more, at least a little bit more, So that was a negative for me. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I thought was kind of bland. There was a few places he was okay, but overall I think he was kind of bland. At the end he was okay. It seemed like I don't know, but overall, I mean, his character at the end though was really like a throwaway character. I mean, at the end you just wanted to see the monsters fight. You didn't care about these other people in the military and just, Elizabeth Olsen, I would have actually rather seen a little more of her. I mean, you really didn't see enough of her. That was kind of a negative. I mean, she's a great actress, up and coming good actress, and just, her character was just kind of just there just to see and just to be like a throwaway character. I mean, um, yeah, there was a few other nitpick problems that I had, like the Muto where it was in the dark, and then they were trying to go across the train tracks there, and they're trying to take these missiles there. Then all of a sudden, then you have the Muto sneaking up on the this gigantic 300-foot tall monster sneaking around. It's just like, where did that come from? I mean, why didn't we see that? And then there's like, trains that are on fire coming at you. I'm like, how did you not see that? I don't know. And those were a few nitpick things that I had, but I mean, there might have been a couple more nitpicks areas, but overall, the positive outweighed the negative in this. Overall, I really loved it. It was real fun. I had a lot of fun. I hear a lot of people saying that they thought they were bored. I wasn't bored. I loved it. I really did. I really did. I mean, except for those negatives, I would like to see Godzilla more, naturally, and the monsters fighting, naturally. But overall, I loved it. I really did. I think it goes right on the mantle right in the collection with the rest of the 60 years of Godzilla. It really does. And there's been quite a few Godzilla movies that were really bad, you know. And I think this was a lot better than a lot of those that in the collection to the last 60 years. So overall, I loved it. I really did. I love that scene at the end, you know, where Godzilla gets up, shakes himself off, and he just goes right back into the ocean and down into the, you know, he roars just like, you know, he was the king, man, and right back into the ocean. Like, if you need me, I'll be back. You know, just call me. You know, I'll know when you need me. So, you know, they've already announced a sequel. So that's big news, guys. That's real big news. We're already getting a sequel. Although I feel they already had that in the work. They were like, yeah, if this movie does great, we're going to announce a sequel, you know. And yeah, they already had that in the works. They knew they were going to do a sequel. If it would have failed, if it would have bombed, they would have never announced it. You know, they would have never announced that. They knew they were hoping that it was going to do big, so they could announce that sequel. They already have some stuff in the works. I mean, they want to make a whole. I think they want to make a whole, at least a trilogy or a whole series out of this. Why not? Let's reboot the whole thing. Let's have a whole new era of Godzilla. I mean, we had the Showa series, we had the Heisei series, Millennium series. Now what is this? Edwards series or something? I don't know. So yeah, maybe, you know, Edwards comes back. I mean, I think he did a very good job for his first blockbuster movie. Yeah, I think he did a really good job. Just for those few negatives, you know, pulling back and watching TV sets while, you know, monsters are fighting on the TV. I would have rather had more of the fighting and a little less of the people, you know. But yeah, I liked it, guys. Yeah, that's about it for me, guys. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, yeah, comment below, guys. Let me know. But overall, I'm going to give this movie at 8. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And yeah, I'm going to go see it a few more times. Yeah, why not? Yeah, the whole last 20 minutes, alone, I think, is one of the greatest Godzilla monster battles or monster fights in history. I mean, there's been a few other great Godzilla battles, like, you know, Godzilla versus King Kong was I love that. You know, Godzilla, you know, versus Orga, you know, in Godzilla 2000, I thought was cool. You know, and that, you know, reminds me of the same thing with Orga, where he was like, you know, trying to like swallow Godzilla, and then he uses his atomic breath to just like blow him up. Well, that's what he did to the Muto in this. You know, he just rips open his, you know, his mouth and just like breathes fire down into his mouth. You know, and you're just like, yeah. You know, and just like rips his head off. You know, that was awesome. That was another positive. That was another big positive. I love that scene. Yeah, I mean that goes right up there with some of the great Godzilla battles. It really does. Yeah, guys, comment below. If you comment below, tell me what you thought. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me, guys. 8 out of 10. Can't wait for the sequel. Well, I mean, hopefully we'll see that in another couple years or 3 years or something, probably. But yeah, I love this. I love this movie. Yeah, that's it for me, guys. Yeah, comment below, guys. Let me know. That's it for me. I'm Chris for Christopher's Entertainment Blog. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later. Take it easy.